I don't like things, period.
We don't need to do a show right now. It's fine. Like it's
Okay.
okay.
Oh,
If we
oh,
want
okay.
to, we can. Cool.
I went on vacation. And on my vacation, I made a lot of observations, took notes about possible episodes. But right now, we're going to do a quick
Airport lightning round.
The purpose of this is just to have some fun. I'm going to say a stereotypical traveler situation, and Adam will try to place, however, on a tier, on a meme. Are you ready?
Provocative. Let's do this.
Adam, I'm standing in TSA, and the person right behind me is upset, audibly upset, and talking to TSA about speeding up because of how late they're going to be for a flight that leaves very soon. The precursor is always like, you kidding me? And then when it comes time that they're interacting with TSA, is like, what's the holdup? Can we go any faster? My flight leaves in 20 minutes. I mean, once you're past TSA, you can always see the people like sprinting with too much luggage and like holding their kid's left leg, like hanging upside down. And the wife or husband is feet, yards behind them, like trying to keep up with luggage.
I'm in public. Everyone's minding their own business. They have no business with me.
No
I'm
one's
huffing.
happy.
Robert and June, who just are going off to get on their honeymoon, they're happy. But other than them,
This is the
mad.
worst part of their trip.
They're mad right now.
Yeah, they're inconvenienced right now.
Meanwhile, Adam walks up with his like backpack and he's just like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be on an airplane. I can't wait." So I'm in public, and I'll do this. I'm not above this, but you're huffing and puffing. Why the heck would you do that to your?
You're bringing other people into your displeasure and discontent with the situation.
Why would I do it? So I'm sitting there, and I'm. Can you believe this? Like, I don't do that where I'm trying to get other people involved with my anger, like at the post office.
I'm not
see that guy? He just walked right past me. Yeah,
I'm not the guy to be like, oh yeah, I know. We should revolt.
Actually, so this is what this is definitely magenta red in the sense, at least, of communication in the way that they're projecting outward. Manners, high civilization is like a don't be a problem to other people. But the reason I'm allowing myself to huff and puff is because I don't care about that right now. I'm more important. My needs are more important. So in my baby brain, which I'm saying my baby brain, yes, I have it.
Right. This is, complete opinion.
I'm still a baby and I'm going out in public. And I expect that when I go, the universe, mom, is going to come and coddle me and, oh, you're upset? Well, what can I do to help you? Yeah, I can help. Like, you're clearly very upset, so you need help. So I will make things better for you. Everyone will bend over and kiss your ass to make you smile. The universe is your parent. So this is, to me, this is sounding like magenta red kind of energy, magenta perspective and red communication. Give me what I want.
You're owed something. Yeah.
I don't even have to be reasonable and tell you what I want. Just, I'm mad. You figured out. Make it better.
Harumph.
Now, that doesn't mean that they live there. That just means this is triggered.
Who knows what happened
my regression to red
made them this late. That's outwardly expressing how frustrated they are that we all have to go through this exact same experience, but somehow they're different and deserve better, are owed more. It just has this negative connotation nationwide. Like, no matter who you talk to, like, my favorite part of being at the airport is the TSA.
These are all situations where you inevitably have to line up like cattle for slaughter and wait 45 minutes. And those dickheads with privilege bought the fast pass ticket, showed up yesterday. Yep, I know it's you. I'm talking about you, motherfucker.
There's a huge line. People like boo and spit at me because I pass the entire line. I don't take my shoes or belt off. Even in the speed up line, if there's like 4 people in the like walk straight through line, there'll still be people like, oh my God, you kidding me? I think I'm at 60 flights this year so far.
Oof.
There's a year left.
Fart out my ass.
I know. Fart into my ass.
I'll tell you what.
Take that fart and put it right into my mouth. Another thing I see traveling a lot.
You're not doing. Follow the fucking format. Look, I'll give you one. How's that
okay.
sound?
Yeah, let's fire away.
Fucker. Chad and Gary are a newly married couple, and they're traveling in South America.
Oh.
Chad wants to just, sit and enjoy the breeze on the island, hang out in the cafe, live the life, be there. Gary, on the other hand, everywhere he goes, got to take that picture. We're going to strain a little extra long, get to the top of the mountain, even though it's bad weather, because we need that picture up there. We need to say we went to that site and saw this thing, even though it's lame, even though we were sick. We have to do this stuff because technically we're down here and we have to check all those boxes and have pictures of it. Meanwhile, Chad's over here just
back at the ranch.
What the hell is your deal? Like, we're going to get home and look back at this shit and be miserable at home. Yeah. But we're here now.
Right.
All right. How do you diagnose this with levels? What's going on? Hard to say, you know.
Of course.
Type thing maybe, but we're looking at levels.
I'd almost say Gare Bear is like orange.
That looks good.
This person is so caught up in other people knowing what they're doing, in showing that I'm maybe better or not better, probably some sort of way better than you, by getting all of these photos, showing us having a forced good time. It's not going to the top of the mountain to take that picture and leaving, whatever beach side you were on, which you also took a picture of. You're not living in the moment. You're showing other people how much better you are. And that is what a lot of social media has become. You don't see when gone for 13 days. I took 6 pictures the whole time. Because I'm there, I'm doing the thing. Danielle took more pictures, but not detracting from the moment, but more pictures of the moment. And we're both in it, having the great time we're having. Like, I need to get a picture. Chad, in his mind, he's created a world that this is okay. And then he put a ring on it. This is not okay. And it's bothering you. And you're newlyweds. So obviously you're living in a storybook world where you're telling yourself things just to you're making up imaginary situations and stories to make sense of what's happening. So I'd say orange and purple. Chad is
magenta in this.
Right. Chad's making up a scenario in his head that's not matching real life just to make sense of things. And I feel bad.
We didn't necessarily establish that. Maybe. I mean, I could have put in a layer that, like, they've argued about this, or they never talk about this, or it's something they accept about each other. But we can assume, let's just say for this exercise, that it's sort of a codependent thing where they're just irritated about it, but they pretend they're not all the time. And like, he always takes his pictures. What a goofball. He doesn't know how to have fun like I do, but boy, I love that guy.
The reason I led to the negativity part on Chad is you said sitting on the beach, enjoying the moment, taking it all in. And then you said pushing a little farther to get to the picture from the top of the mountain. It's not a push if you wanted to do it. It's a push if you didn't want to do it. That's where I got that part.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about, like, times I've been on vacation where it's like, God, it's been a long day. Do you really want to go to that museum? It's like, well, we're not going to get another chance. It's that kind of, it can be it doesn't have to be like a very one-sided thing. It can just be a type or style sort of thing. Maybe. I wanted to kind of draw out to this sort of collecting relics and trophies. Can be presentational both in an extroverted sense and an introverted sense. So, like, you might be putting it on social media to try and communicate to others and get their feedback on things and what they think of your trip and get their approval and everything. Or you might just be kind of this person who takes a lot of pride in themselves and they like to see their own social media posts. That's what they're doing it for. I like to have this thing that I can look at that shows everywhere I've been and everything I've done. And all
I suppose it is like a collage in the cloud. If your if your house, for unforeseeable reasons, and hopefully it never does, burns down and you lose everything, your Facebook account lost nothing. Yeah. It's all still there.
Honestly, that's kind of how I Facebook. Instagram, it's like introverted. Like it's like so that I can remember those things and look back on them. Like I think you can do that in a sort of introverted or extroverted way.
Look at how great a time we're having. Well, you're not having that great of a time showing everyone how great of a time you're having. I had such a great time on vacation. I took 6 photos. I was doing things and enjoying it. being on my phone was not, or even having my phone in my hand was not something I thought of much.
Well, we went to Giza and we were gonna go to the pyramids, but we met this guy, Drusal, and
Uh-huh.
he was so fucking fascinating. Let me tell you some of the things he told us. You're like, wait, you never went to the pyramids? You never
No.
went on the tour? No, the people were saying it was kind of lame,
Yeah,
or
no, it's
what do you
dirty and
just?
it's hot and it smells bad.
And that, to some people, it would be so freaking unimaginable that you would do that.
You went halfway around the
It's so
globe
true.
to see this amazing thing and got cut up with a street urchin?
You can put on a VR helmet and walk through the damn cave with the 87 people who have, posted a really high quality video.
You can put on the VR thing and go somewhere where you're not allowed, that you will never be able to see, even if you go there.
I try to balance that. I try to do a little bit of the tourist stuff or the stuff that everyone has to do. But if you get your own unique experience out of it, I do find that more valuable. That's what you're going to remember your whole life.
Not
Number
quickly,
3,
it's
are we?
as long as it takes baubles and trinkets, trophies and talismans.
Yeah, yeah.
Much later, after I gave up magic and mysticism, I started not keeping those things anymore.
Mhm.
Danielle hates it when I, says James on the envelope, get a card because I open it, read it, like, oh, that's really nice, and then throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you saving that? To throw it away later? What do you mean? Why would I save it? I read it. It was nice.
You got it.
Oh,
Hit you.
what a nice gesture. So my brother had passed away decades ago at this point, but the last Christmas he was alive, he gave me this toy, and I toted that toy around well into adulthood, being the last thing he gave me. And I was looking at it. I was about to move again, and looking at it like, I don't need this toy to remember that Christmas. I don't need this toy to remind me that my brother has passed on. I don't need this toy to reinforce any of the memories I still have. So I donated it. And I never looked back saying like, oh man, I wish I still had that toy. So there are a few collectible things, and I don't have a lot of, but a few collectibles that it's kind of neat to have.
And
Even that
that's
valuable.
pure freaking magenta magic thinking too, where you see that signed baseball and you focus on it and you go up and touch it and then that memory explodes in your brain and
God.
you relive that moment. That's not fucking, that doesn't happen. You're in the now context and that ball has a whole different meaning right now than it did in that moment. It's just a fucking ball with
Entirely.
a signature on it at this moment.
Gathering dust. So a quick baseball story. In Seattle, I lived in Seattle for quite a while. There's a volunteer park cemetery. That's where Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee are buried. I'm sure other famous people are buried there as well, but that's the majority of people go there for.
It's a great
Bruce
place
Lee.
to blow a stranger.
No. That's just volunteer park.
In
Volunteer
general.
park and the
The
cemetery are
cemetery
separate.
is not as good.
But yeah, it is in the middle of a very gay neighborhood, and I've gone on a lot of gay Easter egg hunts there with very fond memory.
Oh, I've gone on some gay Easter egg hunts.
No, we were actually looking for eggs, but
Okay, all right.
the gifts and toys and candies were all explicit. It was a great time. It always is a great time.
It is always a party. It's always
I
good.
hope I'm invited back. So I would go there to wash off the tombstone of right next to their graves
There you go.
was a flat headstone from like 18 something that everyone would stand on to take a picture with the famous
Martin
headstones.
Robertson, yeah.
From Mayo, Ireland, died in like 1895.
Aw.
If I really thought about it, I could probably remember his name, but kind of unimportant to this. I would wash it off just so it was clean, and maybe one person would be like, "Oh, that's someone else's remains that I'm standing on to take a picture with these."
That's
And
adorable. I
so
love it.
I found a baseball out there, just a standard ass baseball. Looked like it had been hit around a couple times. It wasn't really dirty, new-ish. I was training someone, and so they were driving. While they were driving, I was like, let's take a pen here. And I signed it Daryl Strawberry. Then we got back to the office, and the boss was there. And I was like, yeah, we went to lunch in Volunteer Park, debriefing the day with his training. He's like, oh, yeah, great. Awesome. And I got you this. He's like, what is it? It's a baseball signed by Daryl Strawberry. Where we're walking over there, and then we found this baseball. And then Daryl Strawberry was at Bruce Lee's grave.
Wow.
He's like, really? Yeah. He signed it and everything. So I'm not that into baseball, so I want to give it to you. Complete bullshit. All of it. But he's like, oh, okay. He didn't really know who Daryl Strawberry was. So I like called other people in the office, like, do you know who Daryl Strawberry is? Like, oh yeah. This is like
He was on The Simpsons.
That was like 10 years ago at this point. About a year ago, I saw him. He's like, man, I still have that baseball, and I'm gonna give it to my son, and it's like in a case. I did not have the heart to tell him like that is 100% bullshit.
He's never compared the signature against his actual signature.
Too far. I forgot to like pull it back and be like, I'm just fucking with you. But it's important to be like, oh, I just fucking with you, because it's 10 years on now. That ball has some magic to it.
That's right there. Daryl Strawberries. Dario Blueberry. Yeah, there it is.
I was smart enough to go open up the internet machine and look at Daryl Strawberry's signature, and then
I can't do stuff like that.
Copy it as well as I could. It's still wrong.
I would feel like a monster doing that.
Well, I do now.
Yeah.
But when it was happening, it was fucking hilarious. This new guy and I bonded immediately. He's like, oh yeah, this is an awesome place to work, because we we just prank each other a little bit. I forgot to tell him I was fucking with him 10 years later. Now I can't.
No, you can't. Well, okay, so we probably shouldn't release this fucking episode.
No, it's fine. I don't mind if he finds out. He will eventually, when he's like, oh, I'm moving to a new house. I better get this insured. So my little collection up here is, you can probably see a little bit of it. It's World's Fair artifacts. Things from the World's Fair. Just things that shot glasses and little commemorative things. Unknowingly, I've lived in 3 cities that have hosted the World's Fair historically.
Yeah.
So kind of neat. So if you're ever looking for a gift, some stupid World's Fair thing, I will keep that. Just don't include a card.
By the way, the world is not fair. My Spanish teacher, the first thing he ever told me is "El mundo es injusto." So
no, it's not fair. The world's fair.
The world's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, number 3. What the fuck? Or you got some more?
As I'm thinking about them,
you can't
most
do a
of them
fucking 2 lightning round. That's baloney.
But right.
So
as I was thinking about them, most of them met that first model of baby want something, come tend to me. But one that it still bottles my mind when I am about to go sit on a steel tube 30,000 feet in the air with recycled oxygen. I bathe. I am very intentional to only put on deodorant, no cologne or aftershave. And I wear real clothes. What sort of person puts their comfort, and by comfort I mean unwashed pajamas, unwashed body, and drenched in some sort of masking cologne or perfume, is going to get on this public transportation with other people? Where is that coming from?
All right, well, as that guy a couple of times, I can say that in these cases, it's because I fucking slept in the airport the last 2 days.
But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You admittedly said you're the guy sometimes. I've seen the people who have the tile pattern from the airport floor on their face running to an airplane. I get that. I'm saying the person who chose to show up this way.
Yeah. Green meme brings the stink back. Green meme, it's au natural, to have your natural odors and not shower as much. That takes the oils out of your skin and hair and everything. So the more
I don't. Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
I have not used shampoo probably 8 months. I vigorously wash with water. But I'm not stripping this natural out.
Yeah, dude.
But I don't stink.
And then also, tending toward more natural disguising of the odor. So you don't smell like bug spray, you smell more like natural oils, incense, sage, tea tree oil, patchouli, so like weirder, less candy-like smells. Now that could happen, but you're talking about a fucking slob is what we're talking about. Someone who's going to do that no matter what. They're going to be gross.
It doesn't not necessarily, because for example, there was this one lady, I don't know how old she was, and I'm not going to guess, I don't care, wearing probably knockoff, but expensive enough that the unobservant would think Gucci pajamas. Hair just like obviously just put it back in a pony didn't
Mhm.
even brush it. With an expensive brand luggage, I don't feel like this is how you live your life.
Specifically on the flight, like as though to like punish the people that must sit next to them.
I don't want to put this all in a bad light, but it's almost liberating to say I so don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm going to actually be hard to look at and odorous in a public confined space. That's how
Yeah.
little I care what people think.
That's more me. That's kind of more why I would do that.
It's a green meme.
Could be, yeah.
A
Yeah.
green meme action.
Just a deconstruction of these like social constructs. So it's just like, well, who says I can't go to church with the Marilyn Manson shirt on? You know, like let's challenge that. And then
I went
everyone
to-
goes, I don't like you because you smell bad and look weird. Oh yeah. What about that person that treats your flight that like the person that sits next to them? It's like a freaking blind date or it's like a job interview. Or like they're sitting down, they're like, "Hello, I'm Beth. And
Yeah.
you are yeah. So what brings you out here? You know what like what are we doing here? We're gonna be strangers, and that's what's up. We're probably not even going to the same like fucking town.
I read those people a little
Your
bit.
son. They're like, I'm gonna introduce you. You're gonna meet my son. I gotta connect you to. Like, no, you're not. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
like yeah. I would rather you have a screaming baby and a dog that you haven't washed in 6 years than take your shoes off. That is a bold choice.
I fucking straight up take my shoes off every time.
I
Every
know you
time.
do.
On
I
the
know you
airplane.
do.
Fuck you. You hate
fuck
everything
me.
about the way I travel.
Fuck me, fuck you. We'll see who gets fucked when your father gets home.
Like sometimes it's catharsis.
Okay.
Sometimes they just want to spill their dirty laundry on a stranger and get away with it.
For
I'm talking about the relationship builder. They really want to make a good impression on you. They want to build a friendship.
don't blow this, Adam.
Have you ever had it happen where like a lady will literally be like suggesting that you stay with her that night, like where at their stop? Like, does that ever happen to you? Not that you would engage with it. I'm just okay. All right. I see what you're doing.
Hey, just to get this clear, so there's no miscommunication later, I like to put my elbow on the back of the armrest. So if you give me this much of the back of the armrest, the rest is yours. And they're like, okay.
No, that's so true. That's so true. I just want to go like this.
Yeah,
You
I
can do the
don't
thing
want
like that.
I don't want to like
You do
rest
that
my whole
bullshit.
arm. And most people kind of lean forward and hold their phone on their knees, or they take up the whole armrest. Give me this much of the back. And when they sit, like, I'll put my arm there. Like, this is all I'm ever going to want. The rest is all yours. Problem solved. The rest of the flight, if their arm comes back into my territory, I definitely move their arm out of the way because I already talked about this. I claimed this little bit and gave you more of it. So it comes off as great. This dude sitting next to me is going to talk to me the whole time. Nope. I don't want to talk to you ever again. That's why I said this now. So on the plane, it usually starts with, you traveling for business or pleasure?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, right.
Here we go. Business. Where are you going? Elsewhere. What do you mean, where am I going? The same place you're going. Chicago. Final destination? Oh my God. Yep. What business are you in? Oh, yeah. So that's their in. You can always ask somebody, business or pleasure? You know what shuts them down right away that I've learned and now say? Any guesses? Funeral. Then every question they ask after that, if any, act a little more hurt.
That's where Grandma Lynn would say she's got to always give you the third degree. She's upset with you. How come you're such a tough nut to crack? I keep asking these questions and you're not taking the bait. It's because I don't want to fucking talk to you right now. That's what's going on. I'm sorry.
Funeral.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Going to
Family?
someone fucking died. Me, I'm dead.
Yeah, it is family. It's really tough to talk about. So I'm just gonna zone out if that's okay.
I'm going to bury my son. So
Were you close? Like they'll weasel their way in. But business or pleasure, that's when you know you're in for it. The life story is typically, I find, middle age or older. They've like barely traveled. You get the life story because like this is the first time I've ever been on an airplane.
yeah, that does happen a
Oh,
lot. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So you don't know how this works. It's kind of forgivable. But I did have headphones in before you started talking to me. International symbol of I'm not in the chatty mood. Something's going on in here. But they'll lean over and like, yeah. You traveling for business or pleasure? That doesn't happen so much. So headphones right away. Get that upfront contract about whose stake in that armrest you have. But if we're both equal size, give me a third of this. The rest is yours.
I mean, a lot of this comes from the intuitive mind, and just if you do it more, you start getting a sense of these informal rules and kind of how it's supposed to go. It's really exciting to fly through the air and see the clouds from above. I think it's always strange to me how few people are like marveling at what's happening on the airplane. But again, it's because they do it all the time, and it's just a normal thing. You know, just like I don't marvel when I drive my car 80 miles an hour.
Open the window shade, which everyone hates. Open the window shade, and there's like the layer of clouds below you. I mean, it's neat. It's 6 a.m. and your shade is the only one letting light into this 90% sleeping plane.
Exactly. I don't understand why everyone's shades are down. But if they're down, I'm not going to pull mine up. I might have like a little crack, and I'll be like, but I still marvel at that. I've probably been on 40 flights in my life, and I still am just like, oh, the majesty of the planet Earth, or that mountain over there. Like, how come all the fucking farms are circles? I've never seen a damn circular farm in my life, but from the sky, they're all fucking circles.
For irrigation,
Yeah.
there's a well in the middle, and then on an automatic motor, it will slowly roll, but the water's always connected to that well. So it ends up going in a semicircle or full circle. Running a straight, like a square or rectangle farm exists, but you actually have to go out, decouple all of the 10, 20-foot irrigation lines, move them, and reconnect them. So the most efficient way is to just let it, there's a motor way at the end, and it's rolling around the center well.
Right.
So they all end up these circles or semicircles.
That's what I was assuming. I just mean like when you're on the ground and you see a farm, I never see like, maybe you just don't get that it's a circle when you're standing there, that like it's like fading away from, it's like how when people stand on the earth, they don't get that it's like a circle because it looks flat because it's so big.
Or,
I feel like
I
see a line of trees and then a line of crops. That's usually how farms look to me. Trees and then crops. The ditch, trees, and then it just endless rectangle. It looks to me like a rectangle.
You just nailed it. There's a ditch for irrigation, so they are going to have to move their thing. They don't have a well in the center.
So is it the thing that the circular farms are just not where people drive and go? Those are like off, and
they're way more rural, way more remote, and they had to dig a well to be able to irrigate their farms. There's water sources established where you're driving. When you're over what they call the flyover states, and you see that round farm, that's like 2 hours from anywhere.
And like because it's not near the city, I'm assuming they're not as worried about like efficiency per acreage, because that's the thing you notice, like looking at it, it's like all these fucking circles, like they have this land that's not growing
There's
crops.
the little triangles, in the side.
Yeah.
It's irrigation bullshit.
Farmers of America, I have a proposal. Right now, we are making pie amount of money. We could be making 4 amount of money.
Oh, wow.
You see the rectangle. That's right. Farming can be rectangles.
When the tractor came out, it was pitched as an investment, not a tool, a money-making investment, because when you're growing, you have 10 acres of corn, let's say. 2 acres of that has to feed the animals that are going to be working that land. So by buying a tractor, you're getting 20% of your crop back, because now you don't need to feed these draft horses or oxen or mules or whatever. Of course, you're a farm growing wheat or corn or soybeans, whatever. Well, of course, you're going to feed some of that crop to the animals that are working that crop. Neat.
I stick a log on fire and then it burns and it
Yes, sir.
warms my whole house for hours and hours and hours, putting out all that light and heat. It's just a piece of wood. And that just comes out of it. Wow, amazing. It's so much energy just off matter being combusted. It's a beautiful thing.
If you want to get even more stonery about that exact same thing, being stoned and staring into a fire,
Yeah.
is this like time travel? Because I put this log in and then it becomes carbon. Just like if I take that log and go 10,000 years in the future, it's now just carbon.
And by the same token, I marvel at my vehicle. Like every time I get in there and the engine starts up and it goes, I'm like, holy cow. I'm just pouring a fucking flammable fluid inside of this thing.
Made
And
out
it's
of
taking me
fossils.
all miles and miles every day. It's not breaking. I'm not doing anything else but that. I'm just like yearly service, throw some gas in it, and it just works out of this like $3 a gallon fluid. That'll get me like miles and miles and miles. It's so nuts. That
The
fluid moves me and this heavy thing all the way across the fucking country.
the purple meme for me for vehicles, the disassociation between knowing how it mechanically works and using it
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like to like rev the engine. Like, oh, that's got to
Right.
be bad. That's got to be bad for it. But then I'll get in and at 3,000 RPMs go down the highway for 6 hours.
Right.
And I
It
don't
just feels
associate
normal
that.
now.
Yeah, I don't associate that that's the same fucking thing. This thing has been going 3,000 times a minute
Yeah.
for like 6 hours.
Or
And
like you
I
get up
never gave it a
early in
second
the
thought.
morning and you're going like 10 miles per hour. Like, oh, it's probably sleepy. Like we'll go easy on it until it gets going.
Yeah,
Physically
you need
cool.
to throw some oil around on the gaskets and metal bits. But I do
But not because the sun's not out, just because it's not because there's no people around.
the ones that are afraid during takeoffs and landings.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, we're not supposed to be up in the air. And there's no like mechanical action that you can see. The plane isn't flapping its wings. You're just kind of trusting this stationary object to take off and land smoothly.
It's hard to
I
believe.
get it.
Yeah. Just looking at it, it's like, this wouldn't work. What are you talking about? It's too heavy. Like,
This
that's not gonna, the wings
13
aren't big enough.
ton piece of metal that doesn't
Bullshit.
have any visible moving parts. On these,
Very,
this is a
yeah.
13-ton aircraft, and the wheels are like the size of tractor
Yeah.
wheels. Like, what the hell?
Pretty unbelievable.
As long as I make it to the airport with enough time to comfortably make it to my plane, that's it. I'm hands off from then on out. I'm now just part of this system. And as long as I meet the system requirements, which is just be there, everything else is out of my control.
I'll be up there, like I'll imagine like getting into a wreck or whatever, and it's like, oh well, okay, I can't do anything. It's not my fault, so I'm gonna fall, and then I'll almost certainly die. That'll be scary falling, but none of this was my fault, and there was nothing I could have done different to fix it. Yeah, like there was a plane that was just like it was at night, and their instruments were failing, and it just straight up like crashed into a mountain. It's like nobody, there was no panic. It was just like, you're there, you're gone. Boom, it exploded. It's like, I don't want that to happen, but of all the ways to die, that's pretty dope.
Instantaneous, non-foreseen
Yeah.
demise. Okay.
Everything's just going fine. I don't know, maybe you're cheating yourself. I have no idea, but sounds great.
Look, give me an example. Give me
Yeah.
a impersonation of a pilot.
You know, it's like we're reaching cruising speed, 120 miles per hour. That's way too slow. But we're at cruising altitude, 5,000 feet. And please remember to refrain from shitting your pants on the airplane. And we hope you have a wonderful flight. Thank you for flying with us.
The part I was fishing for, and you did do it, was the
This is your captain speaking.
like they do it when they first hit the microphone.
This is Captain Kirk.
This is, Captain Adam. I'd like to welcome you to the flight. Looks like we've got clear skies today, and I should be landing in Denver on time.
Wants to make it
Sit
sound
back,
like he's really working hard, really using his
relax.
whole brain. Hey, pilot, are you all right? Are you doing okay, buddy?
But I found out
I'll
through
be fine.
hanging out in airports like some scumbag, they're actually like reading things.
Uh-huh.
They're doing pilot shit while also having to talk to you. So he's looking at what altitude they're at. Just reached 30,000 feet, and looking at the next line, 500 miles per hour. Looking at the weather report, about an hour in. He's reading that
you're
in
saying
real
he
time.
didn't prepare that all. He's like doing it
Or
in real
she.
time. He's like looking it up. Yeah.
Yeah, they're when they click on mid-flight, there's a lot less of that because they're giving you an update. On the ground, they're trying to get this 13,000-ton behemoth of metal against physics's best advice into the sky, and talking to your stinky pajamaed ass. Yes, they're gonna. That's just something they have to do. I don't know why they have to do it. It could easily be a flight attendant or not at all. Whether you tell me those things or I just find out through being stuck on this airplane, it didn't change anything. When we're getting close to landing, if I'm feeling spry, this person was trying to talk to me and there's an end in sight, I'll turn over and be like, welcome to Chicago. And then the pilot gets on like, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to Chicago. Like, ooh, missed that one, buddy. It's just a little dad humor that makes me laugh. Welcome to Chicago. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to Chicago. Not this time. Delayed boarding. Okay, that happens, whatever. I'm at the mercy of whatever's going on. Nothing I could have done would have sped that up. But he gets on, he's like, yeah, we're going to take a little different route today. We've been cleared to go up to 15,000 feet. This is a smaller plane. Cleared to go up to 15,000 feet. And it looks like we're going to save a little bit of time and fuel. Why isn't that just the way then? Flying on 4th of July or New Year's, the stroke of midnight on New Year's, highly recommend. Looking down at all these firework displays.
Oof.
It's kind of neat. I didn't realize, and I've come to the assumption, I don't know for a fact, but they count on the body heat of the people on the plane to warm the plane. They have it set to whatever. But I was on a commercial aircraft with maybe 15 to 20% occupancy. That was the coldest flight I've ever been on. Like, they count on the 300 people's BTUs as part of the heating system.
Yeah, I guess you
They
would,
don't
yeah.
count on this empty stainless steel box tube flying at 30,000 feet when it's negative 60 degrees outside. It's the one person that walked out in the middle and got in your way. It's the one person who has like a screaming child or a barking dog. It's an extremely small percentage of intolerable people at the airport, but that's all you remember.
I'm thinking of that family, like where the 6 people in the family have to walk in a fucking horizontal line holding hands with all their bags, and they're going to
Very
walk
slowly.
the speed like they're at Disneyland taking in all the sights.
Down the center.
Down the center, and you got
There's no-
everyone
so
who wants to go slightly
All
faster than
traffic
that.
is like kind of trying to
funneling
get
around 'em.
around.
They're just completely oblivious because this is their fucking world.
This similar situation happened. We're going airport speed to the baggage claim because we're going to meet someone who's trading a car with us at arrivals. So we're going airport speed, and this girl walks out from like the sitting area, the gate, to right in front of me and stops. And she's looking our direction. And so I don't wholly run into her, but at the speed I'm going, I did like get awkwardly close. And I said, "Are you fucking for real?" into her mouth. And she kind of gave me the weirdest look, and I sidestepped and kept going. And it bothered me more than it should have. And typical James would not assertively say, "Are you fucking for real?" into another human being's mouth. And Danielle's like, "Oh, you need a cigarette." Oh, you're right. And then I like immediately all of that adrenaline and fight or flight went down because yes, I'm being slightly irrational because I haven't smoked in 6 hours. Yeah, you're making sense.